All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to dive deep into the entire journey of a modern military sniper. It's a path that takes someone from a hopeful candidate, literally crawling through the mud, all the way to a seasoned master, carrying the weight of a career that spans decades.
But before we get into the levels, let's just start with one number that kind of sets the stage for everything else. 70%. That's the attrition rate at Scout Sniper School. And that's not just a statistic, right? That is the brutal reality. For every 10 people who think they have what it takes, 7 of them will be gone before it's over.
So, this is where it all begins. Level 1, the candidate. And right off the bat, the first lesson is, it's a tough one. Because the most important skill you have to learn, it's got nothing to do with a rifle. It's about learning how to just completely disappear.
So you think you're going to be on the shooting range your first week? Nope, you're in the mud. You're low-crawling through fields, painstakingly building a ghillie suit from scratch, piece by piece, until you look more like a bush than a person. You're learning to move inches per hour, to let bugs crawl across your face and not even flinch. This is where you really learn that patience isn't some fluffy virtue, it's a weapon.
And you know, what's fascinating is how people fail. It's not always because they're a bad shot. They wash out after a night exercise leaves them so cold they question every decision they've ever made. They make one tiny safety mistake, or they just vanish in the middle of the night. The ones who make it aren't always the strongest guys. They're the ones who can keep their mind quiet when everything is screaming, and who see failure not as the end, but as just more data.
Okay, so let's say you survive that. You actually make it through. Now you've graduated to level 2, the spotter. You're the new guy on a 2-person team. You've definitely earned your spot, but now your whole world is about being the eyes, the ears, and basically the brain for the main shooter.
I mean, just think about that title for a second. The shooter's external brain. It's literally your job to handle this crazy storm of information, calculating the distance, reading the wind, identifying the right target, so that the shooter can have a completely clear head to do one single perfect thing: squeeze the trigger. You do all the work except for that final action.
And then it happens. Your first deployment, your first kill as a spotter. You see it all through the scope. You watch the round travel and you know it'll hit the target long before the sound ever gets there. And there isn't this big emotional moment of triumph or horror. It's just a quiet, professional satisfaction. The system worked. Job done. You make a note of it and get ready for the next task.
So, time passes. Your team leader, he rotates home. And just like that, you're the senior guy. You're now level 3, the shooter. And that weight? The responsibility for every single round that leaves the rifle? It's all on you now.
Look, your reputation isn't built on the easy 500-meter shots. It's built on the ones that seem impossible. Like this one, a shot from 1,400 meters away into a windy valley where you've got 3 hostages' lives hanging in the balance. I mean, the pressure is just absolute.
So how in the world do you pull off a shot like that? Well, it's this crazy mix, right? Part of it is pure science, ballistics, wind speed, gravity, all the math. But the other part? That's the art. It's an instinct, a feel for the shot that you only get after thousands of hours staring through a scope. It's something you could never really teach or even explain, even if you wanted to.
So you've spent years in the field, you've made the shots, you've proven yourself, and now you hit level 4, the instructor. You actually go back to the same school that nearly broke you, only this time, you're the one in charge. Your job isn't taking shots anymore, it's building the next generation of shooters.
And this is such a key moment in becoming a true master of anything, really. When you have to teach someone the why behind what you do, not just the how, it forces you to understand it on a completely different level. You're not just following a checklist anymore, you're internalizing the core principles. You get better by making others better.
But there's a catch, right? Teaching is important, but it pulls you away from the real thing. Training is safe, it's controlled, it's administrative. It's just not the same as being out there on that razor's edge of an operation. And you find yourself actually missing the chaos, missing the clarity you only find in combat.
And that feeling, it's strong. So you do it. You take one more deployment. You're older now. Yeah, the old man of the team. You're level 5, the team leader. And what you might lack in youthful energy, you more than make up for with something priceless. Years and years of hard-won experience.
And it's at this point in your career that everything kind of boils down to 2 shots. The first one, that's the legend. The 1,700-meter shot on a high-value target that everyone whispers about.
But then there's the other shot, the one nobody ever talks about, the mistake. The intel was bad, but the shot was perfect, and a civilian is dead. It's the private murder you carry around while everyone else celebrates your public legend.
Of course, the review board clears you. But that means nothing, because the face of that civilian, that doesn't clear you. And you learn to carry that weight. You have to, because the alternative, feeling nothing, that's terrifying. The soldiers who feel nothing, they're the ones you really have to be afraid of. The pain is just proof your conscience, your humanity is still there.
And so you reach the final level, level 6, the Master. Now, this isn't some official rank they pin on your chest. It's more of an informal title you earn from your peers. It just means you made it. You survived long enough to become a legend, a rarity.
So what does a master do? Well, now you're testing all the new gear. The fancy scopes that do the math for you. The rifles that practically shoot themselves. The engineers, they think they can eliminate human error. But you know something they don't? You can't code intuition. You can't build an algorithm for a moral judgment call. That's the human part, and it's everything.
And just like that, you look back, and it's been 22 years, a whole career. It started as a kid in the mud. 3 years in, your first kill. By year 15, you're a team leader, carrying the weight of others. And at year 22, it all ends with one last, totally unremarkable shot on a routine mission. You don't even realize it's over until you're on that flight home.
The thing is, you can't just flip a switch and leave it all over there. You bring it home with you. The hypervigilance that makes you scan every person at the grocery store. The relationships that just couldn't survive the deployments. The person you had to become to do the job. But you also bring home the good. The people who are alive because of you. The math of it all, it never adds up perfectly. But you know what? Maybe it's not supposed to.
And then, back in the quiet world, something else creeps in. It's not about the shots you took anymore. It's about the ones you didn't take, the times you held back, you waited, and you let someone walk away. And you're stuck with this question you can never, ever answer. What happened to them? Did their life go on to create good in the world or more harm? You'll just never know. And maybe that's the final weight you have to carry.